Do you think Burlington should allow safe injection sites in the city? City Council is discussing it tonight, and we've had this conversation with Mayor Merle Weinberger before. What he said in 2018 versus what he's saying now.
And a Queen City diner finds itself in the middle of the tensions between protesters and police when a server refuses to serve police officers. We'll show you what's changed at Henry's Diner after that encounter.
Plus, tonight Vermont is reporting 12 new cases of COVID-19 in the state. We'll share what we've been able to find out about them.
And if you went out this evening, you may have gone back inside to grab a jacket. It's definitely getting colder out there. Dan is on deck with your forecast. I'm Dom Amato.
And I'm Celine MacArthur. Your news at 11 starts now.
From WCAX Channel 3, the Channel 3 News at 11 starts now.
Tonight, Vermont is reporting 12 new cases of COVID-19 in the state. That brings up the number to 1,696 people total. Over 1,500 people have recovered. One person is hospitalized tonight. Over 150,000 people have been tested in the state. And in the last 2 weeks across the United States, numbers are down by 18%. That's about 34,000 cases per day. But health experts worry the trend might not last through the fall and winter. A New York Times survey of more than 1,600 schools, colleges, and universities found that 36,000 coronavirus cases have been recorded in just the last week. And tomorrow, Governor Phil Scott will welcome Dr. Anthony Fauci virtually as a special guest for his weekly press conference. Dr. Fauci is the director of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases and is widely regarded as an expert on the coronavirus pandemic. Now, Vermont leads the nation for the lowest rate of COVID infections and several other stats connected to the pandemic. You can watch Dr. Fauci on the governor's press conference live right here on Channel 3 starting around 11 a.m. And 2 more Vermont schools say their students have tested positive for the virus. One student has been identified within the Hartford School District at the high school. 60 miles away in Duxbury, parents were also notified over the weekend that 2 kids tested positive at the Crossett Brook Middle School. That school is closed for in-person learning for the entire week. Hartford was open for in-person learning today. The superintendent there says their response plan is working.
We were surprised that a case came up so soon, but I mean, we've been preparing for this as all Vermont schools have been preparing all summer for this. So we had a plan of how we would handle it.
And a letter from the superintendent of the Duxbury School wrote, quote, "Our approach will be the most conservative possible while balancing safety with keeping schools open. And we ask for your patience. With your participation, we believe we can continue to provide a safe and positive learning experience."
Tensions between demonstrators and police are now being felt in a popular Burlington restaurant. Henry's Diner is a breakfast and lunch staple in the Queen City, but a handful of Burlington cops were turned away recently when they went to go and eat. Now, the officers were denied service by their server. The restaurant's owner says it's not their diner's policy, that this was the action of one individual, and that employee has been fired. Another employee is resigning over the matter. The staff was told this behavior will not be tolerated. Now, we reached out to the mayor for comment, but his spokesperson said he was too busy getting ready for the city council meeting to give one. In the meantime, Black Lives Matter protesters continue for a 20th day. They marched to City Hall at around 5:30 this evening and sat outside to listen to tonight's City Council meeting. Now, some of them called in during the public forum portion of the meeting to reiterate their demands that 3 police officers accused and cleared of using excessive force over the past 3 years be fired. Public forum lasted about 2 hours. The council then moved on with its agenda. On that agenda, a discussion about the possibility of creating a safe injection or safe consumption site for people addicted to illicit drugs like fentanyl and heroin. They are safe and sterile environments where medical personnel are there in the event of an overdose or other complication. Now, they are highly controversial and as of right now do not exist in the United States because of legal issues and local concerns.
Believe that safe injection facilities at this time should not be established here in the state of Vermont. The legal aspects are insurmountable. It is illegal to establish a safe injection facility.
That's Jalinda LeClaire, the Vermont Director of Drug Prevention Policy. Back in 2000, 18 when I asked her if the state was considering the creation of safe injection sites. There are currently about 100 in the world, including Canada. So in 2018, I took our cameras inside the closest one in Montreal to show you how they work and get reaction from police up there. You can see my in-depth report on WCAX.com. But first, let's go to Erin Brown in the newsroom to fill us in on City Council's discussion about them. Erin, where are they on this issue?
Celine, multiple councilors are they're in the meeting right now. They're voicing their support for the creation of an overdose prevention site. Councilors in support of this approach argue that drug addiction should be treated as a health concern, not a criminal one. The proposal calls on the city attorney to conduct an analysis and identify what the legal hurdles are in establishing a site like this one here in Burlington, and if there are any ways they can overcome those hurdles. They're asking for that report by the end of November. Mayor Murrah Weinberger says it's on the list of treatment options and it's worth further exploring and working with the state. Now, I hit Church Street tonight to find out what people think of this idea. Everyone I spoke with said they need more information on what overdose prevention sites are, but some said it sounds like a risky and potentially dangerous idea. Others said they believe it could be effective in preventing overdoses.
I think it makes some sense because those people are usually addicted and they're going to shoot up anyway. And so if they're shooting up in a safer environment that's got safer equipment, that makes some sense to me.
It's great for the people who are drug users because they can avoid, HIV or other infections that often come along with intravenous drug use. They can, just feel that society cares about them and, that there's people out there that are actually taking this problem seriously.
And if the resolution does pass tonight, the city attorney would then be tasked with looking further into any legal barriers to creating the overdose prevention site and then report back to the council with her findings by November. They're also requesting the city's opioid manager coordinate with the Howard Center to go over budget, operational structures, and funding as well. And again, City Council is still deliberating this item right now. We'll let you know as soon as that vote comes down. We'll let you know what the results are. Celine and Dom.
Erin, thank you. Pretty chilly out there today, Dan, and it's really only gotten colder as the night's gone on.
Yeah, we had a cold front come through early in the day and brought some big changes to our temperature. We started out with temperatures in the 60s and then really didn't go very much farther throughout the day. They're cooling down now. We have a frosty start to the day tomorrow. We've got clear sky out there now. Temperatures early in the day topping out mid to upper 60s in most spots. Still a bit below normal, but not too bad. 70 in Lebanon and 70 in Springfield. To compare that to what we have right now, and we're in the 40s and 50s in most spots, even 30s in places like Saranac Lake now at 32 degrees, and Berlin over in New Hampshire at 38 degrees, 46 in Rutland, 47 in Montpelier. We've got clear sky out there now. A couple of clouds earlier in the day, but we're looking to keep it clear tonight. It's really going to help temperatures bottom out pretty low as we get started in the day tomorrow. With that in mind, we do have a freeze warning in the area shaded in purple, where we're likely to drop below 32 degrees tonight. Frost advisories in the area shaded in blue. We'll see some spots getting close to that 32-degree mark. I think no matter where you are, it's going to be a cold start to the day tomorrow. Forecast for tomorrow morning, then, it'll be cold and clear. Temperatures will be bottoming out in the low to mid 30s. Heading into tomorrow, though, plenty of sunshine once again should allow temperatures to rebound pretty well by the afternoon, but still a bit below normal. Highs by mid-afternoon, topping out in the mid 60s. Now, we've got another warm day ahead for Friday, or for Wednesday, rather, but then turning cooler after that. We've got the forecast coming up in just a bit.
Dan, thank you. 1 week from today, every Vermont voter will start receiving ballots in the mail ahead of the November election. But a group of Republicans is now suing the Vermont Secretary of State's office to try to pump the brakes on that effort. A current and former GOP state rep, along with the town clerk, to name a few, say that a universal mail-in voting system will lead to increased voter fraud.
Going to allow ballots to go to people that they may be not of their right mind, if I may say that, where someone else could take their ballot and say, well, I'll fill this in what I think it should be and mail it in.
Secretary of State Jim Kondo says one reason for the nearly 160,000 people voted in the August primary is because he sent out postcards to every voter reminding them to request ballots. Kondo was not available for an interview about the lawsuit, but in a statement to Channel 3 News, he says in part, quote, "We are confident that we stand on firm legal ground to prevail in this lawsuit, which attempts to force voters to choose between their safety and their right to vote." President Trump travels to Sacramento, where he addresses members of the California National Guard after getting a briefing on the devastating wildfires across the region. But during his visit, the president refused to acknowledge the effects of a climate crisis and instead continued to highlight the need for better forest management to clear dead trees that can serve as fuel for those fires.
Like explosive is the only word. You drop a cigarette on it, you come back a half hour later and you have a forest fire.
Meanwhile, an organization aimed at getting out the Latino vote for Joe Biden announced it's spending millions of dollars on bilingual mail and political ads. The Biden campaign has also dropped new political ads targeting black men in hopes of recapturing turnout numbers similar to those of former President Obama's totals.
Families with loved ones in long-term care facilities in Vermont are still trying to figure out their options for visiting those loved ones. The Vermont Health Department is looking at small changes that could help make the visitation process easier and more meaningful. An expert we spoke with suggests a few things when trying to work out a plan. It includes knowing the policies of where your loved one lives and how you can visit, talking with doctors about your concerns, and see if there's a way to personalize your loved one's care plan to help them deal with stress. But we still need a few things to happen before safe contact can be had.
One of the things, unfortunately, which is the great panacea for us, is to see that we have a vaccine for the virus. We also need to have, I think, very clearly testing that is available with quick turnaround.
And you can see more of Kat Villiandoni's interview, which debuted in our new 4 o'clock news on our website, WCAX.com.
Coming up, a driver pinned between a vehicle and a pole. We're going to take a closer look at how this happened. Coming up.
And a federal grant is helping some families grow their own produce. We'll tell you all about it next.